Hi everyone. For today's card I'm going to do a larger card, so I have a 5x7 panel here, and this is some W.H. Smith acrylic paper, which although it's meant for acrylic paint, I like the fact that it can withhold, or sort of it can cope with moisture. So I'm using this, and it's got a slight texture on it that almost looks a little bit like wood grain, but it's not wood grain, if that makes sense. And I'm just putting some distress inks on here to create both a sky and I guess a ground or a grassy area for my card. I will trim this down slightly because I like a bit of a border around the edges, and I can't seem to line up, you know, if the panel, if your main image or panel for the front is the same size as the card, I can't seem to line it up. So I cut it down slightly, but you'll see that in a bit. And then I decided to spritz it with some just some water. You can do this with a paintbrush as well, with an acrylic block, if you put some on the acrylic block and then flick it off the block. But I decided to use my distress sprayer. I love that thing. If you guys don't have one, I suggest you get one because it is very, very cool. You can control the water and how it, you know, how big the drops are. So that's kind of handy. It's not the same as a normal little spritzy bottle. I've got a few of those and I've tried that and it just doesn't do the same thing. So however this thing works, it works great. So I've trimmed it down now, and I'm just edging the, putting some ink around the edges just to give it that sort of finished look. And the images that I'm going to use today are from the Fawn Thanks Bushel stamp set. For this one I do have the coordinating dies, so I actually die cut them out, but you could easily, again, just, you know, either hand cut them because they're not too bad as far as, you know, the shape of the image isn't too bad to cut out, or use a scan and cut or that kind of machine. And I used my Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers on this one as well. I can't remember what card or paper. It might have been W.H. Smith's mixed media paper as well, or this one might have been some of the same acrylic paper that I'm using for the background. I can't for the life of me think, because these I did quite a long time ago, and I quite like doing that. I like having a little session of stamping images and then colouring them in, so it gives me a chance to either practice with colouring mediums like markers or you know, paint or pencils or whatever it is, but it also gives me a chance to play with the stamp set. If it's a new stamp set, then I get to sort of see, you know, get to play with it and colour in and things like that, and I love colouring, so I love doing this sort of thing. So for me this is kind of a neat thing, and also it then means that you've got a whole bunch of things ready to go if you need a quick card, and you need to make something sort of spur of the moment which sometimes happens with me, even though I've got like a million of these things lying around that I always forget to send out. That's not the point. You should be sending your cards out if you're making them. So here I have some, this is actually a Heidi, it came in a kit from, I want to say 10 years ago. I don't know, don't quote me on that, but that's actually from a Heidi swap kit, and it's like a I can't think of the word, but it's just like a really light fabric that you can kind of, you can ink and you can you know, add color to it. I left it natural, but and I've just got some lace that I'm putting over the top there just for something different over, you know, on the card. I don't often do this sort of thing, but I just thought it added a nice bit of texture on the card, so I decided to go with it. And then because that is kind of bulky, I decided that I would, I'm going to stamp first, but I decided to actually use wet glue to stick it down, because it will have a bit of bulk at the back of the card because of the ribbon or the lace trim and that. So I've got a stamp press here. This is the smaller one of the two I have. I have got a Tim Holtz, the sort of original size as well, but I just thought I'd use this one. It was big enough for the card, and I'm just trying to line up the stamps so that they look somewhat straight to me. So You guys know I don't line things up very well. So, and even now looking at this, I think the ribbon looks a bit squonk, but you know, whatever. It's handmade. So I just stamped my little sentiment on there. And now I'm going to pop it onto a card base. The card base is a 5x7 card base. So it measures 10 by 7 folded at 5 inches. So yeah, so that's just the card base. I don't know why I don't normally make this size card. This is kind of rather a big size card for me. I usually do an American A2 size card, which is kind of like a squat version of an A6. So I just like the look of it, and it's easy measurements for me as well. I don't do anything difficult. And so here I'm just trying to get some extra glue in there because that's a bit bulky. So that's it. Oh, I also put some Nouveau crystal glaze. You could use, oh, and my cat decided to jump on my desk right at the right moment, of course. I put some crystal glaze over the top to make them shiny. Those shiny apples, like you do. Just be aware that obviously when you add that, it will either move watercolored ink, or it will it could slightly darken the color. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and tick the notification bell if you want to see more from me. Bye.